Before you scroll past, before you roll your eyes and think this has nothing to do with you, stop. Just for a few life-changing minutes, and we will prove that this is the single most important message you'll hear in your life. And if you heed it, it could save you and your loved ones from a period in our lives that is going to be so tragic for most that one day you'll either say, "Thank God I paid attention," or you'll be one of the millions saying, "I wish I had." That's right, millions. Approximately 1 year ago, after calculating the birthday of the USA, in association with planetary positions and their influences, we shared our expectations for the coming years in a series of 4 videos called What Are Your Strong and Weak House Positions, Parts 1 through 4. We mentioned that the USA was moving into a very powerful sequence of house positions. We also recognized there was a monetary tsunami on the United States horizon. However, we didn't know it would be as globally impactful as it appears to be. We also didn't realize the horrendous price that so many would pay as a result. We sincerely hope that you are not among them. Here is what is currently taking place that is going to blindside the unprepared in the worst way, while sparing those prepared from major financial hardships. On July 18, 2025, the Genius Act was signed into law by President Trump after passing both the Senate and the House of Representatives, which means all the politicians know about it, because enough of them endorsed it for those who didn't to have knowledge of it. The law establishes a new digital payment system using stablecoins, which is a digital currency or type of cryptocurrency. Each stablecoin maintains a value equal to a US dollar. There are several reasons for the establishment of the law. The main purposes are to make America the leader in digital assets and to rebuild the United States' failing economy. Thus far, it appears to be an excellent plan for recovery, but it has a major flaw, which is virtually all United States citizens have no knowledge of cryptocurrency, stablecoins, or the Genius Act law, which is federal law. As a result, it is highly likely that the overwhelming majority of United States citizens are headed for financial destitution. This can also be attributed to the ever-increasing rate of job loss that will continue to pick up as a result of the increasing amount of robotics combined with artificial intelligence. Now pay close attention because I am going to prove to you beyond a shadow of a doubt that our lives are getting ready to change in an unimaginable way. Why do I believe this? Because the Genius Act gives companies and corporations the right to establish their own dollar-backed stablecoin, which will be digital. The Genius Act also gives them the right to write and adjust the regulations on their stablecoin's use, value, and much more, as long as they don't violate federal laws concerning its use, which will be overseen by the Securities and Exchange Commission, also known as the SEC, who will report our stablecoin transactions to the IRS. United States citizens haven't even begun to educate themselves in this new monetary technology that has already begun to govern financial transactions globally. Perhaps you still don't understand what this means. So put yourself in the place of those company and corporate leaders. If you were able to establish your own digital currency, and you held millions, billions, or trillions of dollars in cash, gold, and other assets, and you had stuff that you knew people needed to use and wanted to buy, like food, clothes, entertainment, medicines, hospitals, etc., and you could establish your own money in the form of stablecoins that you could dollar-backed value as long as you had the assets to back them, would you prefer people to purchase from you using money which you had no control over, or money you had total control over? And that's just a small part of the big picture, which we intend to explain in our next video. For now, let me share a few down-to-earth examples of the changes you can expect in your day-to-day life when it comes to making stablecoin purchases. Imagine this scenario. You're at Walmart ready to check out, but instead of pulling out cash, a credit or debit card, you'll have to use Walmart coin. Want to make a purchase on Amazon? You'll need to have some Amazon coin in your digital wallet. Buying a new iPhone or Apple products, you'll want to have some Apple coin in your digital wallet. Please don't think that this is some far-fetched idea we concocted. Airlines are already experimenting with their own digital tokens for tickets and upgrades. Hotels are already doing self-check-ins, which will soon be tokenized. Even universities could start issuing their own tokens for tuition and fees. Think about what this means in the future. When you buy something, you're not just a customer, you're entering a company's private financial ecosystem. Each corporation could have its own currency, its own rules, and its own digitized economy. This shift is going to make today's payment systems look ancient. But here's where it gets really interesting and maybe a little unsettling. In a world of fully programmable digital money, the concept of being late on a payment could disappear. Late fees are virtually non-existent. Defaults, nearly impossible. Why? Because the company you owe money to could have the power to automatically debit the payment directly from your digital wallet the second it's due. No asking for permission, no grace periods, no "I'll pay you next week." Landlords and rental companies will want it direct, instantly, with their own stablecoin or digital token. Sending tuition or paying fees at a college or university? Expect a school-issued digital token. Now, I have a question for you. Knowing that stablecoins will give them the kind of power just mentioned, how many merchants, banks, schools, landlords, and corporations do you think are going to adopt this digital payment system? Exactly, all of them. Have I gotten your attention yet? Imagine this. It's Friday. Your paycheck just hit your account. But before you can even think about treating yourself to something pleasurable, before you even have a chance to move money into your savings account, half of it's already gone. Your landlord already took the rent. The bank took the loan payment. Your car company took the car payment. Student loans, automatically deducted. Utilities, paid, if anything is left. If not, lights out. By the time you check your balance, all that's left is what they decided you could keep, if anything. I mean, you know how greedy they are. This is not science fiction. This is the reality of a digitized dollar combined with corporate stablecoins tied into federal law. So ask yourself, are you ready to live in a world where your money moves before you give it permission to do so? Now, I am going to share the worst part of it all, and it is the absolute truth. Deny it if you will, but it has proven itself throughout history. Regardless of what we say, no matter how many warnings we put out, the majority of people will still wait until it's too late and suffer the consequences. That's just human nature. They'll shrug and say,
"It won't happen to me."
They'll laugh and say,
"The government would never let that happen in America."
They'll stall and say,
"I'll figure it out later."
But later never comes, and when reality finally hits, the same will say,
"When did that happen? And why didn't anybody let us know this was going to happen?"
And if you're one of those types, the kind that says, "I'll wait and see what happens," I hope you've got someone who can come to your financial aid. Because once this system locks in, nobody's going to have the luxury of bailing you out, because everyone will be too busy trying to understand what's going on and trying to protect what little they have left. That's why these conversations matter now, because once the digital dollar and corporate stablecoins take over, the rules of money won't bend for your excuses and needs. The regulations are currently being written. If you would like to see how far behind you may be and how we are preparing for this monetary and financial transition, we have prepared a free PDF that is linked to the QR code at the end of the video. It will also assist you in fact-checking what we have shared. Thank you for joining me and staying until the end. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. More insightful content is on the way. Goodbye.